Hi, good morning. This is Cliff from the Christians Tough Guy Show, CTG. And for those that have been listening regularly, they will know that we are not afraid to cover any points that relate to the Christian lives of men and women, and how tough and challenging they can be, and how we can rise above them by physical pursuits. But today, we're going to change it slightly. We're going to talk about a very extremely controversial subject: evolution. Evolution as opposed to creation, or should I say creation as opposed to evolution. So I just want to kick off first and say what evolution is. From the Oxford Dictionary, the definition of evolution is a process of developing into a different form by development from earlier forms. Now, straight away, that to me confuses me completely. They tell us that our closest cousins are apes, and that in fact we originate from the ape family. Well, excuse me, but if that is the case over millions of years, then why are apes not extinct now? Why do we see apes in the jungle? Because it's a load of balderdash, it's a load of lies and deceit. And the totally immoral thing about this is they teach our children this in schools. We was taught this lie, and they're continuing to teach our children this. Not lies. Total and utter lies. Now, whilst I do accept there is adaptation of the species, which is not evolution, you've got to put this into perspective, and you've got to view it, adaptation, you've got to look at it like a mountain ranges. On one mountain range, we have human beings. Alright? On the other mountain range, we might have giraffes. We might have kangaroos. Do you get me? But we're on different mountain ranges. And we are adapting each and every way. Human beings have adapted from 500 years ago, but they have not changed species. Now, there's been scientific data, unfortunately I'm not able to actually locate that, but I'm sure that there will be listeners that would be able to. So if you could let me know on the exact whereabouts of this data. Scientists, non-Christian, are carrying out tests which have found out definitively that the labyrinth of an ape is different to the labyrinth of a human being. The labyrinth being, the inside bit of the ear that, well, I don't know, but it's the inside bit of the ear. and the more educated listeners out there will know exactly what the labyrinth is. But it's the inside of the ear which aids balance for us humans. So the labyrinth of a human is different to the labyrinth of an ape. The labyrinth of an ape has been designed so that they can scurry across the ground on all fours. The labyrinth of a human being has been designed to balance so that we can stand up on 2 feet and walk. That has been scientifically proven. No argument about it. It's there. The data's there. So that consolidates what I've just said. The ape and a human being are 2 completely different species. If we take the mountain range concept, the human being's mountain range is going to be close to the ape mountain range, but not of the same mountain range. Whereas giraffes are going to be considerably further away from humans and apes, and perhaps nearer to kangaroos or something like that. I don't know. But do you get me? I'm just talking to you in the most simplest of forms, right? If you can get that, hold of that, then you're beginning to understand where I'm coming from. So, no apes extinct yet. That brings me on to my next ponderable. Okay, if we're humans now, then what we're evolving into, because that's puzzling as well. You see, it's all lies. You get these professors of universities and these up-and-coming scientists that write their theses, alright, and they know it's a load of balderdash, but are they going to back down publicly and tell you, my doctorate, my PhD or whatever just stands for absolutely nothing. I might as well make a paper plane out of it because it means nothing. The letters after my name just mean absolutely nothing. The thesis that I wrote when I was studying at Oxford for my degree is complete enough of balderdash. No, of course they're not. Some of them go out and write books and become millionaires. Of course they're not. Are they then going to turn around and say to the education system, it's all wrong, we must change it? Of course they're not. No, they're not going to. Because they are just making money out of it and making a name for themselves. You see, we have this theory of the Big Bang. How did it all start? How did the universe come about? Well, it was a Big Bang, says the scientist. That's what happened. That's what kicked it off. Millions and trillions of years ago. It was a Big Bang. Oh. But, I mean, what caused the Big Bang? You know, I mean, come on. Let's have an educated answer to this. Please tell me. Please tell us, Christians. What caused the Big Bang? Please tell us. I had one opinion. Well, Cliff, what caused the Big Bang? It's easy. It was gases combusting all around, and the whole of the universe, or that space that was to become the universe, vibrating, vibrating and vibrating and vibrating and vibrating. Bang! Rather than an explosion, it's more like an implosion. Oh, really? Really? So it was gases. But if we take from the Oxford Dictionary, the definition of a gas is a tangible substance. Tangible is something. A substance. It's not something that you can grab hold of, but it's there. It exists. It's something. So my question would be regarding the Big Bang and the gases combusting to cause this vibration, to cause this massive explosion. Where did the gases come from? Where did they come from? Where did they emanate from? It didn't just go, gases, there we are. No, it didn't. I've heard all other different theories of, think of the universe like a massive balloon, and as it expands and expands and expands and expands. Oh, come off it! Whatever theory the evolutionary scientist comes up with, my question is, what was the catalyst of that? What caused that? What caused the gases to be there? What caused this, like the balloon expansion? Whatever theoretical concept and answer they come up with, my question is, what caused that? Because you see, you cannot have something out of nothingness without calling it creation. Can you? Because adopting the evolution theory, something would have had to have gone before a process of developing into different forms by development from earlier forms. So there had to be something for the evolutionary concept to stack up. There just had to be something going before. If you shut your eyes tightly, what do you see? Darkness. And that is my kind of personification of a void. Nothingness. Nothingness. Absolutely dead nothingness. Our finite minds cannot perceive nothingness. This is why the scientists will never get their heads around evolution, because it's a lie. But going back to what I was saying, so suddenly out of this void, somethingness from somewhere which the scientists have not been able to get their heads around, we have an evolutionary process. Do you see what I mean? It's lies, it's balderdash. I stress again, somethingness out of nothingness. You cannot perceive what caused that somethingness, right? Has to be creation, doesn't it? It just has. Now I've heard other, in quotes, learned opinions from scientists, And it's actually quite interesting, this one. It's probably the one that makes the most sense out of all of them. And scientists now have discovered that actually an atom is not the most primal, primitive, first form of living, you know what I mean, organism, or whatever you want to perceive it as. The atom was the first. No. They have discovered what is known as a quark. Quark. I'll spell that. Q-U-A-R-K. And that is a subatom. So, the scientists have now arrived at this point where they've discovered what a subatom is. But what is a subatom? Well, the learned scientist says it's a sound wave. Just like as I speak into this Spreaker, and I can see the console moving up and down and up and down, that is like a sound wave. Right? But you know what? That's where the scientists are completely at a loss. There's one scientist, I won't mention this guy's name, but I do think he's totally up himself, you know, some of the things that he says are quite ridiculous. He says, look, it's okay for science to not have the answers just yet, but we roll up our sleeves and we get to work to find the answers. But they cannot, can they, tell us, general lay people, what caused the coming about of a subatom, quark, Q-U-A-R-K. What caused that? Cannot answer it. They won't be able to answer it. Never. So they should be showing a little bit of humility towards the creationists. Because right there in the Bible, the first chapter, the first 3 verses within Genesis, what does it say? And God said, and God said, let there be light, etc., etc. But the words are, and God said. Right? There's your sound wave. Okay? And God said, out of the void, out of nothingness. And we cannot, our finite mind cannot perceive God. God was charitable enough to send us Jesus, our Saviour and Redeemer. But perceiving God, our minds can't take it. Perceiving that act out of nothingness into something, it's outside our boundaries of our finite mind. I don't care if you're the most cleverest scientist, so-called, out. No, you will not perceive it. So show some humility with your scientists. Okay? This same Oxford professor, I watched him on YouTube, and I found his pompous attitude quite unbearable. There he was giving one of his talks on YouTube. I'm not going to mention his name. To a group of university students, and a female from the audience said to him, "Yes, but Professor, what if you're wrong?" So Professor says, "What if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong if this and that? What if I'm wrong if this and that? What if I'm wrong if this and that?" He totally destroyed her. And everyone laughed and clapped and gave him a standing ovation. The hero of the day. But the thing is, he is wrong. Totally and utterly incorrect. And what this female in the audience was saying, what if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? What happens then? I think she was trying to help him. What if you're wrong? What happens to you then? It's finished. It's over for you. For eternity. Again, like I said at the outset of this talk, they don't want to relinquish their positions. They don't want to give up their positions. That's why. That is why. So until the scientists can give me an intelligent, sane, sensible reasoning of the divine spark to life, without it dropping into creation, then I'll listen to them. But you know what? I know that they can't. Not that they won't, they can't. Just want to leave you with just one final ponderable to the people who think I'm talking absolute from where the sun doesn't shine. Where did evil come from? Let me say that again. Where did evil come from? What is evil? Is it a man-made thing? Why is it wrong to murder somebody? I know the answer to that, but why is it wrong? Why is it evil? Where did evil come from? If we don't have a spirit that lives inside us, and we're just merely robots walking around with flesh and blood, and our hearts thumping, and our minds, working, etc., etc. Where did evil come from? Those are the questions, the ponderables I put to the would-be evolutionary scientist that believes in millions and millions of years. Don't put it out on TV programs, the lies. Please don't do that, because it's total and utter lies. This is Cliff, finishing up now. We've covered a very controversial subject today. But at CTG, we are not afraid to do that. Okay, we want the truth. We seek the truth, and we live by the truth. I'm out of here. Speak to you tomorrow. Bye for now.